The idea to do something beyond beauty and wellness in Ayurveda was why we had started. But if I don't try, how will I ever get to know that I was capable of that?
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Modernizing Biz podcast. This episode is going to be very special because I'm very fascinated by all the bath care products, skin care products, and body care products. So we have Shreedha with us. Shreedha is one of the founder at TAC. TAC full form is the Ayurvedic company. Hi Shreedha, how are you doing?
Hey Manish, thank you so much for having me, first of all. And I'm doing very well. I hope the same for you. And at TAC, we do Ayurvedic beauty, baby, makeup, and a couple of other things that bring Ayurveda and modern day people close to each other.
So from which year you're working on the TAC, like when the idea was generated and how it's going so far?
So the idea of doing something in Ayurveda started out of a personal journey. I went through a skin condition called urticaria, which is also commonly called allergy. But it was aggravated because of some environmental and internal stress
Hmm.
kind of situations, which happened to me in 2014 and continued until 2017. And we tried
Okay.
a lot of English medicine, we tried a lot of dermats and medicines that were very suppressive in nature. So they used to suppress the symptoms. I used to feel okay, but then the issue was not resolved completely. When in 2017 I got married, I and my co-founder, who's also my partner in life, we decided to travel to explore Ayurveda as a medicine for life, as a medicine for this issue. And that is when we happened to get first-hand experience with Ayurveda,
Hmm.
and this issue got resolved. So essentially, 2017 is the time when we got completely immersed into Ayurveda and its benefits for today's world.
In 2017, since you started out, you might have struggled while at the time of building this brand. You might have struggled with the COVID times. So, from like, I want to know like what COVID times look like being a
So
founder.
2017 So 2017 was the time when we started researching. We wanted to do something, but both of us were working in corporates, and it took us some time to, finally
Hmm.
give up the corporate careers and take a plunge to start something of our own. I think family वाले तो बिल्कुल ही सोच रहे थे हम पागल हो चुके हैं. But in 2019, late early 2020 was when we started our first brand. So Param left his job in 2018. I left my job in 2019, and it took us about 1 year to come up to the world with something which we could call our own. Uh, and in 2020, when we started with Khadi Essentials, COVID hit. 2-3 months of
Hmm.
starting up, and there was COVID, and we didn't know what to do because everywhere there was nothing. Everything was shut. Even the Amazons and Flipkarts and Nykas of the world were shut. But at
Agreed.
this point in time, I think what paid off was the foundation that we had built in the past 1 year. On great products, on great formulations, on knowing what need and problem were we fulfilling. And also, we were available all across India. So, in terms of supply chain, also we were sorted. So, as soon as these marketplaces opened up, uh, we
Hmm.
started getting a lot of traction. We started seeing a lot of growth.
So, are you selling in this COVID times? Do you dispatch any products in the first phase, second phase? What was that scene?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Otherwise, what would pay the bills?
Yeah.
We were selling products from Khadi Essentials. For a brief period, we had also pivoted because hygiene and sanitization was something which was the need of the
Hmm.
hour. We did a lot of CSR with Haryana government and a lot of NGOs also all across the country. We launched a sub brand under Khadi Essentials called Pure and Safe, which was into hygiene and
Okay.
sanitization. And we took that as an opportunity to, reach out. to new households and also make them aware of the broader brand that Khadi Essentials is.
Hmm.
However, the idea to do something beyond beauty and wellness in Ayurveda was why we had started. And in 2020 only, we had thought that we will have another brand called the Ayurveda Company, which is called TAC now. Uh, and we wanted
Hmm.
to do something which is far more extensive in Ayurveda as opposed to only topical treatments. And that's when we
Yeah.
got the brand registered, but we only got the time to launch this brand last year, which is 2021.
Perfect. So, I want to go a little deep about e-commerce because since I'm also coming down from the same background, I helped a lot of e-commerce brand in building their sales funnels, marketing, photo shoots, and everything, influencer marketing and all. So,
Yeah.
since from the outside world, it always feel like running an e-commerce brand compared to a retail is the best option. It seems from the outside it's a bloomy, but what's the reality from the inside? What's your day look like, and what are the departments that you have to keep it aligned, and what is one of your biggest challenge?
Wow. So that's a very tricky one because but I totally agree with you, Manish, when you say that from the outside it appears to be very hunky dory, uh, as if everything were picture perfect. But
Hmm.
backstage there is so much of commotion, so much of chaos happening right from the time you know I mean, and that chaos is also logical because you're always gunning for a very high speed. You have lesser resources, be it in terms of time, be it in terms of funds, be it in terms of the number of people and the experience of people that you have typically in a startup. And usually you want to do so many things very quickly in one go. So many a times it tends to get chaotic right from the time, right? Maybe it could be in supply chain. Sometimes there are tech issues. Sometimes building teams becomes an issue. Uh,
Yeah.
and what, so
Yes.
I think, but that is also the beauty of what a startup is, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree, but do you love your journey, what you're doing? Do you love it? Then and only it's going to be a bloomy. If not, then it's going to be a mess.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as I think you were also asking what I take care of in the company. So I take care of supply chain, wherein, right from procurement to
Okay.
operations to fulfillment of the jobs to warehousing. I also take care of social media, brand
Hmm.
marketing, and entire marketing, offline, online, both. I'm also responsible for performance marketing, which is the direct to customer consumer channel, D2C channel for the brand. And these are three very different kind of jobs. So one is very technical and data led in nature. One is very
Hmm.
operational, bilkul groundwork in nature, and very
Right.
labor intensive kind of a job. And the third one is very creative, and you have to be great on ideas and strategies. So it's like shifting gears right from reverse to sixth gear uh, within
Yeah.
seconds, and then going to some other gear at some other point in time. But I absolutely enjoy it because I remember leaving my first job because I felt I could complete uh, whatever was assigned to me in less than half a day. Then I kept on looking for more and more. I've always been a
Hmm.
person who wants to completely consume the potential I could have, because even I don't know what I will be able to do tomorrow or some years from now. But if I don't try, how will I ever get to know that I was capable of that? So I'm a big fan of human potential combined with right direction and effort, and I absolutely love it.
Amazing. It's really good to hear. And since you touched the point that you take care of marketing as well, so coming down for the marketing background helped a lot of startups. So I know that how much marketing eats up the fund. It's not an easy. Let's say how many product line you have currently. More than 100 to
So
50
we have
products you
about
have, I
60,
guess.
70, yeah, 60, 70 products in TAC, about 40, 50 products in Khadi Essentials. So yeah.
yeah, on an average more than 100 products you are having.
Yeah,
So each and every
yeah.
product, it's a lot of funds, right? Promoting it, marketing it. There's a ad budget, there's influencer marketing, there's shoot, brand shoots, collaboration, and so many things happening around. How you manage the funds? I know you raised couple of rounds, but what was journey look like once you have not got the funding? What how you manage it? How does it look like?
We've always been very frugal in terms of our approach, because I think I and my co-founder firmly believe that we did not start this to get money from
Hmm.
outside and then burn it and then, you know, go back home, or make some money only for ourselves and then go back home. This was never the idea, which means every penny, every rupee that we spend, I treat it, it is my own money. I treat it like my own money. There are, and that is the value that we instill in each of our employees too. And when you start treating organizations' money like your own money, and actually at, in the initial days, it's actually your own money. So there is that pain of not going haywire with respect to your spends. You're always very frugal. Even if you want to do influencer marketing, you would spend probably, instead of going for thousands and lakhs of influencers, you would spend a lot of time to identify what is the kind of ROI I would get from every endorsement or every marketing
Yeah.
initiative that I get. So it is very we do not do just because अच्छा लग रहा है या trend में है, or
Hmm.
somebody else is doing it. We do it only if it makes sense to us in some way or the other. And there is a very strict mechanism through which we map what is the brand aware. So maybe some marketing activity is not immediately giving you monetary results, but then what is the impact it
Yeah.
has on brand awareness over a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, and eventually 6 month period. So that ways money is allocated only in activities that are adding to the goals of the organization.
Okay, so you touched the point of goals. I'll come down to one thing. In your first, let's take an example of your initial 24-month journey in your initial 2 years. So, do you focus
Hmm.
more on generating the short term leads for sales? You touched the point that you understand like some marketing activities will going to give us sales in long run. It's not going to give us sales next month or couple of after 7 days. So, what is your prime
Hmm.
focus? You focus on building a brand and getting a sales later on in long run, or you focus on generating the short term fields in your initial 24 months? Because a lot of e-commerce brands majorly get confused in these two phases. So
Yeah,
what was your
that's a
strategies back
very
in those days?
beautiful. That's that's a very beautiful question, Manish, because brand building and sales, uh, it's a tricky balance to go along. In the
Yeah.
initial 24 months, so we've always focused on the brand, but not in terms of the how it is envisaged or how it is perceived by the broader world कि पूरा brand building में ही पैसा लगा रहे हैं, celebrities ले रहे हैं,
Hmm.
hoardings at
Huh.
some of the most populous places in the country. The idea, so how does a customer experience a new brand? A customer experiences the new brand through uh, the touch points that they see. So we've been very cautious about how what are the our windows as a brand, what are our windows uh, to the world from where the customers can see us. The brand website, the imagery, the packaging, the product experience, the delivery experience, Instagram, social media pages,
Hmm.
and there is a list of more than 100 touch points, the customer support, and so many things around it. What we did initially is that to try to create a consistent experience all across. If some offer is live or some
Okay.
imagery, so because I did not want to confuse my customer, if they saw me on Instagram, they should, the imagery that they should get of TAC should be the same as when they come
Agree.
to our website and whether they go to our offline store. And the way we communicate with them also is very important. uh, and I think one thing I would especially like to talk about is that when you give the customers an opportunity to co-create the brand with you, there is And what I mean by this English is that we've always been very focused on the feedback that we keep getting from customers. Because if you
Hmm.
only keep working on the points that customers are telling you, I mean, a lot of your internal processes, a lot of your internal problems are going to get solved automatically. If a customer is telling you that his order is delayed, I mean, that's an issue with your logistics. If a customer is telling you that there is some issue, I
Agree.
mean, your product is leaking, for example, then go change your packaging. So, we have been very focused that way with respect to the kind of feedback. And for the initial 24 months, I was the customer support for the company.
Wow. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, if I want to sum up, so you touched the point that you majorly focus not on sales, not on brand building, not on putting a lot of money in celebrities, but you focus majorly on getting the increasing the customer experience, the whole buying journey, and after the
Experience
sales, after
and
using the
sales, of
product.
course. And sales,
Yeah.
because the more people experience the products, the more feedback we'll get and we'll keep becoming better.
Okay. Now you will realize one thing, Shida, that a lot of brands will not going to create that ecosystem where they're going to get the customer feedback. So क्या होता है the customer comment on the Instagram post, they do the DM, one reel went viral and they got the wrong the bad commenting over there. So what was your mechanism of collecting the real and authentic customer feedback? Like
So
what
that
is your
is
mechanism from where you
we
got those?
so the ways in which customers can reach out to us, we've kept it all open, be it WhatsApp, email, other sorts of chats, calls,
Hmm. Hmm.
Instagram, or any other form of social messaging. And we are very agile on that. What is important is that, see, any issue which is not attended today, which is not serious today,
Hmm.
will become urgent, important, and super serious tomorrow. So it is important to
Okay.
control the fire when it is in its, chingari state, and not when it becomes
Yeah.
a forest fire. So very important to keep an eye, and very closely. Even today, I monitor what the customer is saying, and not just the customer, but any other stakeholder. It could be our vendor partners, it could be our content
Hmm.
creators, it could be our agencies that we work with. Any stakeholder, of course, customer first, but any stakeholder in general, it is very important for us to maintain the right health check of the organization.
So, do you have that number of satisfaction? I know it's very hard to measure for a very niche specific brand, but yeah, do you have any satisfaction about like what is your ideal retention rate of the customer? If I talk about that,
Retention rate, so considering that TAC is only 1 year old, we are hovering anywhere between 27 to 32% retention. It keeps
wow.
varying depending on the kind of offers we run and new launches. I think a great deal of it is also because we have products across portfolios. So it's not just that कि आपने शैम्पू ले लिया
Hmm.
तो आपको 50 टाइप के अलग-अलग शैम्पूज ही मिल रहे हैं. If you have taken a shampoo, you have something for your baby. You have something, probably, in from the makeup line. You have some gifting material. There are nutraceuticals, because the idea is to do create a holistic Ayurveda experience and also integrate in your day-to-day lifestyle. So that way, the repeat is pretty high. The retention is pretty high, pretty good.
Amazing. Now I want to go a little bit about your fundraising part, right? I know that you have raised couple of rounds. So let's start off like when was the first funding round happen?
So we secured our first fund, seed round from Wipro consumers, and this
Wow.
entire process of getting funded from a big conglomerate like Wipro took a lot of time, not in terms of closure of the agreement or term sheet, but more in terms of the due diligence, and there were things. So
Hmm.
we were operating as a very fast growing startup, and the focus, there were processes in place, but not as structured as some big companies would want. So a lot of time went into that. We secured our first funding round last year.
What was the amount?
So there were three people who invested, and it was $3 million.
Amazing. So now a lot of startups who go for the funding rounds, now they think so that like raising a money is a very easy. Jao, acha business plan, they got the money. So you got your seed funding, right? So you know a
Yeah,
lot of happening around the startup ecosystem, funding. But the thing is, you know your real experience of working with an investor and raising the funds, right? Again, it is also seems to be gloomy from the outside. Is it really from the inside?
yeah.
Hope this doesn't get to the investors, but yeah.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Uh, but the thing is that I think it varies. The investors these days are very sensitive and smart also, because they know that, so if a brand is performing, uh, why
Hmm.
would they create an undue pressure or something which is not supporting their growth? On the other hand, if the brand has just taken the money and for whatever reasons, the investors are not able to monetize their investment in a long
Hmm.
period of time or over a period of time, it's wrong to the investors also, and hence there is some
Yeah.
emotion, some sentiment which may not be as positive. Raising funds, see, I will not comment on whether it is easy or difficult, but I can just tell you that when we received our first inquiry, uh, हमारी तो presentation भी ready नहीं थी, because the idea was not to just go for anybody, but to go for somebody who has expertise in a traditional FMCG business and understands the relevance of omni-channel also, and not just
Yeah.
D2C online and not just
Hmm.
e-commerce. So the idea was to go for a balanced partner, because as individuals also, Manish, we value relationships, we value people,
Yeah.
and it is important that we join hands only with like-minded people so that the partnership can
Hmm.
take us to another level.
Perfect. So now, since it's been almost, so your journey looks like you raised the funds, you're having a good product line, everything was going good. As a brand, now what is the one biggest challenge that you are struggling with? Like that you feel so like if this is solved, then again we're going to be unstoppable. I know there are like multiple challenge, but if you can highlight a couple of them, so
Yeah.
that would be great.
So I think for a fast-growing startup, I mean, this is funny, but I'll say it. You tend to go out of stock at times, no matter how much you prepare. And I come
Yeah.
from the thought process ki fresh pakao, fresh khao. And this is what my mom has inculcated in me, that so, I mean, which is what I try and implement in the system also, that we need to make fresh stock and then send it fresh to the
Hmm.
customer
Agree.
instead of having ek saal purana stock, ded saal purana stock, because the customer deserves the best product. Now, which also
Hmm.
means that I don't want to be overstocked. At the same time, probably some product you were selling, let's say X units, next month you're selling 10x units, third month you're selling probably 400x units. So how do you envisage, how do you project all these things? If that problem is solved, probably मेरे को नींद अच्छे से आने लगेगी.
Okay, so that is one thing. That is your worst nightmare. But I can relate to it. Anyways, at last I want to know a little bit about your marketing. So since how you got a very good buzz, right? This space is very overcrowded. If you look at the skincare market,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah.
there's n number of people operating. There's n number of foreign brands as well who got entry into the domestic market. So what was your strategy to have your unique differentiation in the market? Like people started looking at you, huh, this is different. So what is one that
Hmm.
strategy, and like how you are going to leverage this to the audience, how you're showcasing it to the audience?
Hmm. Absolutely. So, when sometimes as entrepreneurs we tend to overcomplicate things, uh, that हमें कुछ ऐसा करना है जो पहले किसी ने नहीं करा, or we want to create something which
Hmm.
never existed. uh, and the other side is problematic also, wherein sometimes there may be me too products or me too brands. What we realized was that इतना बड़ा gap था between massy and classy Ayurveda. Uh, and India is a mass market nation. If you
Yeah.
look at some of the most premium brands, they cater to a very niche category in the country. And if you look at the way India has increased its consumption, has increased its affordability, and the openness and acceptance of products that are slightly premium than the conventional FMCG companies, we realized that in Ayurveda there was a very big white space, and there was no brand doing what we thought we could do. uh, so TAC is trying to bridge that divide between Masi and classy Ayurveda with affordable offerings. So products start from 99 rupees and go up to 600, 700 max, uh, entire
Wow.
category included. And but the packaging, the experience, the product quality, and everything else around the product except for the price is extremely premium.
Hmm.
So the brand is
Wow.
aspirational, has an appeal associated with it, but is available, but is easy on the pocket. That is what we tried to
Hmm.
do through TAG, and I think that is something which is working, because who doesn't want a great quality product at a great price?
Amazing. Nice. You really answered it in a
Hmm.
very nice manner. So, at
Yeah,
last point of the conversation, I want to ask one more thing. I'm gonna challenge you once again, but like, what do you think so
sure.
tech will going to look like? I don't. I will still think so that you might going to change your the brand name. You come up with a lot of new names that you started with Khadi and now with tech. So, what's year 2033 will look like for you? Who knows? Brand name can be tech,
2033.
but yeah, 10
So
years
it
from
will
now.
remain TAC because there can only be one the Ayurveda company. So tag to एक ही रहेगा and brand will remain the same. I think the kind of love that we are enjoying and we hope to grow in domestic markets. I think by 2033 तो we'll not need to introduce tag to anybody because entire globe would be
Wow.
knowing it. मतलब लोगों को होगा कि यार आयुर्वेदा मतलब टैग टैग मतलब आयुर्वेदा.
Right. So you
I
become
think,
a,
yeah,
um, I would say you become the Godrej. You, if you know about that thing, you become the Godrej and Dettol
absolutely.
in your market.
Bilkul.
Amazing in Ayurvedic
So
market.
Ayurveda should be synonymous with TAC and vice versa. I think 10
Hmm.
years is a pretty long time.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm done from my end. I hope a lot of audience will get value out of it. I hope you also enjoy the conversation, Shreedha. It was really nice
Thoroughly
conversating with you.
enjoyed. Thank you, Manish. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best for doing the amazing work that you always do to inspire your audiences, and lovely to be a part of this journey with you.
Yeah. Yeah.